why do you think women of today's time have a problem with the idea of being submissive?
Why would I submit to somebody that I don't need? I think it starts like I think that's the root of it.
How many men can say that they are those two things?
Protector and
And
provider.
protector and provider.
Second fold is like we ain't our grandfathers. I don't think we're the same dudes that command the type of respect that like our grandfathers.
Is capitalism the great deception? Is it the big lie?
America's America. I don't want to go too hard for it, but we are, as black folks, if you look all across the world, I think the black folks in America got it the best out of all the black people in the world.
Like if you look at just the average person on the social media spaces or in just really all I want to talk about is money.
Mm-hmm.
Like do we are we gonna just throw morality out the fucking window in chase of capitalism?
Welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Over here, real.
It's Q.
And we back. Season 3, episode 12. Go check out the Cookout Conversations last week.
Mm-hmm.
I want to appreciate Shartia for bringing us out there.
They had me in a box.
Good Lord.
They had me in a little box.
The Blender, per se.
I ain't mad at it.
But hey, we appreciate y'all for having us. The food was exceptional.
Hey, that food.
The hospitality was wonderful.
For sure.
And the conversations was pretty good. So y'all go check that out on the live. Ring the bell before we get started. I want to say y'all ring the bell, hit like. If you haven't subscribed, I'll say follow us on IG, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. It's the To Be Fair Show.
Yes, sir.
We'll hop right into it.
All right, well, man, shoot, I got I think it might be a little spicy, as they say, topic for this week.
Got a little cayenne, a little red chili pepper.
Yeah, a couple of little spices and herbs on this one.
Ain't got no ghost peppers on it, do it.
Hey, they say them, hey, might do. We're going to see what the comment section do. So, my question today for the week is going to be is why do you think women of today's time or any time period, women in general, have a problem with the idea of being submissive? And I say, well, I guess I'll just lend this out to y'all and then we can just converse about it as deep as it goes. So, Johnny, you got something?
I mean, I got an idea.
I think it's simple, honestly.
I think. Well, let me give my idea, and then I'll let him sum it up. But I mean, I think it goes. I think it's twofold. Maybe it's not simple, but it's twofold. You know, it's twofold. I think it comes down to a lot of the what we say, like the left, or like some of the progressive movement, a lot of the independents. You know, women. I don't think women. Kind of we listen to the Cookout Conversation that's up on YouTube, but like it kind of goes back to some of that thing where they don't think that men and women need each other. Now, whether you need a woman, like I don't want to get back into that conversation, but there's a lack of I don't need this person because I can do it on my own. So why would I submit to somebody that I don't need? I think it starts like I think that's the root of it. The second fold is like dudes aren't we ain't our grandfathers when it comes to our just mental toughness, our mental fortitude, like what we're able to endure. I don't think we're the same dudes that command the type of respect that like our grandfathers, our daddies did. And that's why I think that's why it's a little harder because it's a lot of, softer dudes out here. If I just look at what I see personally, and not necessarily people I'm around, but if I listen to the internet and listen to what the internet's talking, I see a lot of softness out there, which I'd imagine as a woman, it's harder to submit to a soft dude.
Yeah, but then you kind of got me thinking about two questions, but I guess let's let Q give his piece because my questions, I don't even know if I'm going to get into it. Well, it's crazy. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's let Q go into it.
The submissive thing. In which, I mean, I don't know. I guess most women said they'll be submissive, quote unquote, for the right person. But I also, I think the answer of the question is: are niggas bringing? Let me reframe that so it can be like not say the word nigga in it. Um, do most men today deserve submission? Or are they also looking for somebody that's going to do a lot of the halfway shit that they're going to need as well? And then when you look at that, then it's like, well, what are you submitting to? And that's the reality of it, right? If both people are working, both people are like look to do like a general same amount of shit when it comes down to the household, and that's what the average person has to do. If we just look at what like pretty much the cost of living and the average income. Um,
So you're
does
looking at it
that
just from a financial
does
point of
that
view.
well, I mean, the reality of it is that when it comes down to like you're talking roles, a woman submitting, be like the all the old shit, right? It came off of a certain level of leverage, in which today there's not as much leverage when a lot of niggas are making less than their woman. A lot of niggas are making equal, and then some niggas are making more, but then you're still needing that woman to.
You're not making as much more as like our grandfathers said.
Well,
Like
no, most women. I don't even know where like this traditional submission thing comes from, because most women also still work. Your grandma probably worked, but
Correct.
but the reality still would be like if we go to like old traditional white tropes of like the 1910s and 20s and shit like that, before the women's suffrage movement, it was the fact that the man worked and he brought home all the money, and the woman just literally had to keep up the house,
tend
do
to the
X, Y,
house.
and Z, and you listen to what this person was because he was the protector and provider. When we look at today, how many men can say that they are those two things?
Protector and
And
provider.
protector and provider. And then if you do both of those things, you probably have women that will line up to be submissive to you.
So
I don't.
well
I don't
let's
Yeah,
think
hold
that.
on.
just
Let's hold on.
real quick question. Just because I don't know if we actually have discussed this in a minute. What does submission actually look like for a woman in today's time?
And
What
that's
does
what
that
That's
look like?
also very
honestly,
true too.
honestly, the thing that was going to be my answer to the question. My answer to the question is that I think that we have different definitions of what submission looks like. I think that when especially the independent woman hears this is a triggering term. It is very triggering, and it's based on the idea of whatever
But what niggas
however
what
she
niggas
defines it.
want women to do?
Say it again.
What niggas want women to do? Like submission.
I would say that like submission is literally just allowing a man to lead.
What does that mean?
That means that at the end of the day, so like let's say that let's and I use this example recently. Let's say that there's an idea that okay, well you and your old lady are having a conversation. She's saying that we should move, right? She's saying that we should move. So and you own the house, y'all own the house, and
Yo.
she's presenting the idea that you all should move. Okay, so y'all have the conversation, and then of course you would provide your why you think that let's say you think that y'all should stay, and you provide to her the reason in which you feel that you should stay. You would listen to the reason in which she thinks that you should move, and then at the end of the day you make the decision. At the end of the day, you take into account both sides, and then she understands that you're gonna make your decision is gonna be based on what's best for the family. I don't think that all niggas qualify for having a woman that's submissive. I don't think all, but and I'm not talking about. It doesn't have anything to do with tax brackets to me. It doesn't have anything to do with tax brackets. To me, it has a thing to do with what has your leadership in your own life.
Your
What
position.
fruits have it bared? It's not that you just got a lot of money or you just got all this shit. It's literally like, okay, so
What other
I
fruits?
have
So like
the
you could be a
ability to
disciplined nigga
trust.
that make like 15K and
Say
she
it
should still
again.
listen to you. You could be a disciplined nigga that make 15K and she should still listen to you.
No, so what I said discipline. I'm talking
Okay.
about what have you what is your leadership? I didn't say discipline. What is your
Oh
leadership?
no, I guess I was saying that because usually like within leadership you kind of
It
like
requires
respect a
discipline for
certain
sure.
level of like discipline within your actions and who you are.
Yeah, leadership does require discipline. But what has your leadership? What are you leading your own life? How can I have confidence in the decisions that you make? If I don't have the ability to have confidence in the decisions you make, then how
Outside
can
of
you?
money, like what other like if it's
It's
not
not
money,
money
if it's
based.
not money that somebody could have confidence in, then and you said fruit, like what other fruit could somebody
It's
have?
very much so just decision making. So like
Mm-hmm.
it could be fruitful that I come to you and ask, we have the conversation about having a child. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to do with money. It's literally just the idea of having that leadership and that reflecting in what you how you move for yourself, and then that should be respected. If as long as the man's leadership is respectable, then you should have no problem submitting to him, because that means that you actually are willing to follow his lead.
Mm.
I guess I don't know. Partially because I don't know how much I agree with just the idea of like this necessary thing of submission, unless we're talking about like mutual submission between both parties for whatever each person is actually strong in. And to me, like that makes sense. But like this older version of like, hey, just submit to a person who might be strong and might be weak in certain areas, I just don't really believe in it, Johnny.
Well, here's my thing. I don't think like you could have all that leadership, but it's she doesn't have to respect that. She could choose to respect it based on how she's, but if she
Imagine her paying
or or or,
70
or,
30
or,
on the mortgage,
or say her
and you
daddy,
telling her
or say her
weird,
daddy was
weird little
a
dynamic.
professional athlete,
Yeah.
and she comes from that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You might have all the discipline in the world, but if you don't have the funds to take care of her the way she's used to, she doesn't necessarily like. She should respect you as a person, but she don't have to necessarily respect you no matter what you stand on.
But there's an idea. So like based on what he painted. So like let's say she makes let's say 70-30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you actually have you're forward thinking. So you've done your research on what's best, where it's best to put funds at. So she can make the money, or however this works out. I don't think that every man deserves a submissive woman. I don't believe that. I think that as a man you can grow into that. But I think that like just because you could literally you can lead without actually providing the finance, like being the breadwinner. You can lead because I noticed in like in a close scenario to me, there's a dude that's close to me who wife is worth over $1 million. At the end of the day, she's submissive to him because she understands that this nigga, he got the mind. He got the mind. So she invested in Amazon early. She invested in like because this nigga literally he's well versed in money. He just didn't have the capital to make the same investments that she made. So he's actually, and then even beyond that, he like literally the idea, pretty much everything. She literally asks him questions before she makes a move, pretty much period. And she respects his leadership, and she submits to his leadership.
I think she respects his intelligence.
I
Of
agree with that
course.
too. And that's what I'm about to say. It
But
sounds like advice more than anything.
but it's not his leadership that she respects. She respects his intelligence, and she no matter how much money he has, that intelligence is there, and that's what she likes about that particular man. But that doesn't
Right.
mean that every woman has to be attracted to intelligence. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of women are
I agree.
attracted to like we live in we live in a capitalistic society.
Okay.
We have to play by those rules. And that's like the reality of what we live in. So the reality of what we live in capitalism is we're gonna be judged based on what we bring in.
And
And
if
Hold
we
on.
go,
and
I
I don't
want
think
Tone to
there's
get
nothing.
in.
Let me finish.
but now,
Let me finish.
go
Let me
ahead.
finish. I don't
They
think
ain't gonna
there's
let you win,
nothing
Tone.
wrong with a woman being like I just like certain men say I need a woman to make a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with a woman saying I make this amount, so in order for me to respect the man, he needs to make this amount. And like I
And I
can
think that's
understand.
cool. And that was actually
I
the
can
conversation
understand
that
it
we had
from
after the
that
pod,
perspective.
with like the cookout conversation.
Yeah,
The
after we went
therapist
off,
lady,
yeah.
she wasn't on the pod, but she was kind of like sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
and she called her homegirls out. She was like, well, let's be honest, y'all wouldn't date a janitor, so we shouldn't even start there. And that's the reality, and that's why like I tried to push the conversation there when we was
And
having the
that's
conversation
but that's
when I was saying
okay.
that basement. I have a basement
Mm-hmm.
because I also think that most women are reluctant to say that they won't date a specific income because they get chastised for that as well.
But they're the ones who literally make their decisions like more so on that like that
Oh no,
basement requirement
Mm.
means
I agree
it
with that.
means way more to them
I
than it
agree with
does to us. And we're the ones that are quick to say yes, I had, and when they're like, well, I don't know, I could respect a janitor as long as he had ambition. That's what they were saying last week.
That's what they were saying. But
They was
again,
calling
when
the
we
cap on it.
unpacked it,
no,
we
they
all
would.
understood that
No, they
none of
wouldn't.
them would actually date
No,
you.
they
That's what a
wouldn't.
homegirl
No,
talked
they
about,
wouldn't. And nothing is wrong with
and that's
that.
what a better conversation.
Nothing is wrong with that. They can have that stand. That's okay. Nothing is wrong with that.
100%.
Man,
You
But
can.
I don't think they're like, as far as submission and everything, we still talking about finances. I don't think submission is as much about finances as it is taking something off of her plate. Being able to take something off her plate. If you're coming into a woman's life and there's nothing that you can take off her plate, you can't make her mental easy. You're not helping her in that emotional space. There's a lot of different spaces that women actually do need help in, and even men. There are a lot of different spaces. So I think when a woman submits, because like personally, I am not rich, but every relationship I've been in, like that's been a thing. Like I haven't had to ask that because the decisions that I make, ultimately, she knows that I have her in mind.
let me ask you this, Tone. Let me ask
Mhm.
you this, and this is everybody.
That's your T-shirt. I got it.
But I get it. Like there's some women that are gonna respect the intelligence, the creativity, the artist in you. Some women are gonna love you for that. A lot of women, and we gotta think about the society we live in. Yes, like yes, there are some women that are gonna respect that, but look at our society and what our society values.
But I didn't say anything about creativity or artistry or any of that. I said if you have to be able to take something off of her plate.
Right,
Like,
but to me, when I heard that, it just sounded like you were talking about like being a good partner in a
I didn't get to ask
relationship.
my question.
Yeah, that ain't even like has anything to do with submission.
But as
Yeah,
we can
One thing-
go there if we
as the
like.
as the man, what's the easiest thing to take off a woman's plate besides money? That
That is the easiest thing.
like exactly.
That is the
and that's
easiest
why
thing.
most 9
that's
times
the
out of
easiest
10
thing to take
we
off of
go
anybody's
there
plate.
because that's the easiest place to start. Like as a woman, are you gonna cook,
Respect.
clean, like do
The
be
easiest
a
thing.
better woman than her, be more more empathetic than her? Are we gonna do that as men?
No,
Yeah,
and that's,
most
that's
of us-
not,
but hold on.
that's not even
Before
what
we
I'm saying.
move forward, before we move too far forward, let's also address the fact that, like you said, you can have whatever stance you want. You can have whatever stance you want, but your reality has already shown you what the fuck you're gonna get. Your reality has already shown you. The people can sit here and act like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get this and my standard is this and that. Have you ever had it? What makes you think as you're getting, you know what I mean, that this is even gonna become a thing that you're going to be?
That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
You can
for a lot of women.
standardize whatever the
Yeah, for
fuck you
women.
want to standardize.
Well, like I mean, as far as like if you're a woman and you're like, well, I gotta have a man that makes $200K, and that's your basement. It's like, well,
How many women
what are
actually
you
say that?
doing to deserve like to get that man?
Or just
How
the
many
idea,
women actually say that?
well, let's just not even use the 200K. Let's just say the idea that
No,
I want a
was
man
just
that
making
makes
an
the
extreme
same
example.
or more than I do, right? Just
Uh-huh.
let's just use the idea that I want a man that makes the same or more than I do.
For me to be submissive, is that what we're talking about, or to be
Oh
in a
no, it
relationship?
sounded like we kind of moved
I
away
thought
from
we
the
were still talking about
submission part.
submission.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
me.
Oh well, let's
submission.
just go.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
just stay
talking
with the
about
submission.
Yeah, I don't think if
So-
you're making the same money as Shorty, likelihood of her being submissive probably starts to wane a little bit more, unless like you are really like strong principled person in which they can respect and intelligent. I think
And then
that's the
also,
main thing.
and I
But
can tell you
my
that there's a level of spirituality that comes into that as well. So if you can find
like
a,
if
you
she's
can
a
find a lady,
spiritual
you
woman,
can find
I
a
think
woman.
that
If you
could
if you
probably
were
be
to be able
okay.
to find a woman that is going to stand in what she believes in the word, then your likelihood does increase. So I don't want
Yeah, no,
to
I
leave
think
them out
that
because
in
that
general, whether
definitely
she's
is the
rich or
thing.
poor, I would say if she is someone that is indoctrinated inside like the Bible and the way of like God, man, woman, children, and like that whole structure,
That's
then
Ezekiel.
I think that like you got the easy pass. Like it's a layup. You can, you know what I mean, jelly it.
It ain't
But
an easy pass, but go ahead.
I mean, if she's
But go
deep
ahead.
in that shit, you know what I mean.
I mean,
But
even the
the
whole
real,
concept.
let me
It just
make this
depends on
pass.
how your passing ability.
Got well, all right. But let me I'm gonna make this point before I forget it. Yeah, I personally think that we inside like this like the modern times of which what we're in and what we're actually asking for women in reality, I don't think that like submission should really be the word that we're looking for. The reality is that like I'm not trying to like get a woman to submit to me as much as like have like a quality partner that we can make decisions together with. And I can trust in you and you can trust in me. And we can have really good conversations because I know I'll be fucked sometimes and I know she be fucked sometimes. And like us having the end of the day to, huh?
You're going down that. I know the question is why do you think women have a problem with submission?
Well, I thought we already answered that. They have a problem because most niggas aren't of quality to submit. Like to me, like that, I think that's like very simple. And then I also think that like trying to get a woman to submit today, it's just like unless you a nigga that make a certain amount of money, like it's better just looking at each person as human beings.
And my thing is
like we're not inside like this open day. Like let's just both be human beings and like have a real partnership.
It doesn't make you not a human being for you to submit to a man. It doesn't make you not less.
It does make you less than him for sure.
It doesn't make you less of a human being.
It makes you less than him. I think that like if to me, I'll let you finish.
I just want to say that I months ago said that both men and women submit in a relationship,
and I agree. And that's the biggest thing.
And I feel like,
and that's when you have a real partnership.
Rich, you feel me? They didn't feel me when I said that.
We didn't feel you when you said that.
I know I didn't, but then I came back around and told Johnny like I've evolved, and like at that moment I didn't see it because it was more egotistical. But the reality of like what a working good relationship ends up being is that you lean on each other, and it's not about like just somebody having all the answers and what I say ends up being the answer. It's like about the fact of like it's a true partnership.
In my opinion. Go ahead.
Just real quick. I still don't think
don't change the definition of submission. Because that's what they about to do in a second.
No, this is exactly what I'm about to say.
We didn't even define it.
We ain't define it. And that's what I was about to say. Let me say what I'm about to say.
You defined some shit last week. Look it up again.
Go ahead.
Let me say. I think the issue come in. I think the issue come in is that this is another one of those conversations, though. This is another one of those conversations that comes based off of a biblical principle where people have misunderstanding. The whole submission conversation is based off of a biblical principle, but when you bring it into the world, what it becomes is, why should a woman not let a man control them? Submission becomes about control. I don't think it's about controlling somebody. And I think that's typically what people are thinking about when they hear submission, that you're supposed to control your woman.
And that was the same thing that I would say. I think that we just have a...
I gave him a layup. I said that's a jelly. If that woman is that, it's a jelly.
Can I add a question?
Go ahead, add a question, Johnny.
We got enough time. We got enough time for this one. I'm gonna flip it.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think men's problem with submission to women is?
Egotism.
And why do you think we have such a problem with submitting to women who
this is actually the fire question.
And let's bring it to modern times. Why do we have a problem submitting to women who make just as much money as us?
Because it don't have nothing to do with money. It don't have nothing to do with money. Y'all niggas still missing the basics.
An issue with submitting.
This is what I believe. I believe that any man that's been in a 10-year relationship understands where it is that you'll end up having to do that. You know what I mean? You in a 10-year relationship, you know that you're gonna have to take as well as you're gonna have to give. You're gonna have to wear shit as well as she's gonna have to wear shit. There has to be a level of accountability on both sides for it to continue to be, you know what I mean, to stay together. Any man that's been in a 10-year relationship understands that. So it's not so much as that these niggas, these 1-year relationship niggas, these niggas that just been dropping shit off, they don't know. But
so
niggas
men don't have a problem with submission.
What I'm saying is that a man that has had a 10-year relationship understands that's a part of it. That is a part of it. Any man that's been in a 10-year relationship 100% knows that he is not going to just put his foot down and that's what's going to happen. That
so then everybody's submitting so they're all partners. Just making sure.
We already had that conversation a couple months ago, like Johnny said. But
you didn't say yes or no. Yes?
Nigga. It's apparent.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Keep going.
Because we already had that, but we already had that discussion months ago, like you said.
Just keep going.
Anyway,
you was rolling. Keep going.
He fucking up my momentum. You see what I'm talking about?
Keep going.
This nigga want to do his little sidebar bullshit, box shit, and fucking up my momentum. all in the fucking way.
Keep going. You have
Okay, but he threw me off, so I gotta goddamn make sure.
And I can jump back
Yeah,
in.
but no, you threw me off
I
already.
didn't-
We don't need you to jump. We need you to chill.
Hey, I heard a word
We
earlier
need you to
this week.
chill.
It's called filibustering.
It's called.
Right now, the nigga just talking. He's saying
Nigga,
words.
you keep
Get
talking.
back to the point.
The point is, these niggas in these little small ass relationships,
There you
niggas
go.
that actually ain't never had no real tenured relationship, don't know nothing about sacrifice, don't know nothing about coming to, you know what I mean? You gonna have to do all of that. So when you talking to these bum ass niggas that, well, not, I won't say bum ass niggas, these niggas that don't have any idea of what they're talking about, you'll get these levels of emotions to these words, and you'll get these levels of ego to all this shit. Nigga, if you done been, I was talking to the homie earlier. Every single dude I know that done been in a 10-year relationship, I ain't talking about 5 years. I'm talking about niggas plus 12, plus 10. Any guy that's done been through that,
double digits.
you can sit there and listen to the man, and he'll tell you like, yeah, I was standing firm on this, and then it didn't work out, so we might have had to take some time. Then we came back together, and I respected more what she was saying. She appreciated more what I was saying. We was able to make this unit stronger. Like any man that's sitting there, like there's levels to the conversations as it pertains to relationships, because a lot of dudes that be talking have no idea about what it takes to do anything that has to do with a 10-year relationship. These niggas just be talking. Shit just sound good. Listen to a whole bunch of different people talk about different things and think you got it figured out. You ain't lived it. You don't know. It's just a theory at this point.
Hey, man, you ain't got a point over here every time, bro.
My bad. I was in mode. Niggas just be going off theory.
Right.
Not you ain't implementing the damn thing. You talking about what another person done said. It sound good to you, so you run it. But it ain't. My bad. I got you.
So
It sound good, so you run it.
So just to make sure, because I actually agree with everything you said, and that means nobody submits, right?
That means that
Nobody what?
Nobody submits, or everybody submits. Either way, like it's the same difference.
Everybody submits.
Everybody submits or nobody submits. It's kind of like literally the exact same thing.
No. What it is
Everybody's
that,
doing
no, it's
something.
not the same thing, because if
Okay, then
everybody does
that.
it,
Everybody submits. Then cool. All right, I'm cool with that statement too.
I mean, you just posed the question. I was just gonna go in with you on.
Can I?
Oh no, you said nobody. So
Go ahead and summarize.
I'll
chill.
summarize it. I get the cliff notes. I don't know if y'all used to cheat back in the day. But notes used to go crazy.
Hey, them shit used to be a tub.
Notes used to go crazy. A+ English every time.
Wow.
Every time. But we just talked about men submitting, women submitting. Your question was based on the concept of women having an issue with submitting. You just went on the whole spiel about how men don't have an issue with submitting. And so
that's not what he did. He had an issue with men submitting, and why fuck niggas don't submit. Isn't that what you were saying?
No, Johnny. You were listening.
okay.
Oh wait, no, wait.
Yeah, no, I thought I had it right. My summary.
So you're saying that men don't have a problem submitting?
Yeah, I think that
He said. Yeah, he said men. He said every man.
Not every man.
Can I?
Go ahead. But don't every anything.
Okay.
But go ahead.
He said
most men.
Okay. 10 plus.
Tenured relationship.
10 plus.
Tenured. Understand.
Tenured. But I think his definition of tenured was 10 plus. Double digits on the relationship.
Gotcha.
He said every man in a relationship like that doesn't have any issue submitting.
So let me ask you this then: do you think that most women in tenured relationships, 10 plus, have an issue submitting?
Yes.
There's
still. See, the thing
Oh,
is
okay.
that there's still a level of imbalance there. What I can say is that a woman is more likely to kind of push the limit more than a man. We kind of understand that we kind of just sit and come get creatures of habit. Creatures of habit. We don't really push the envelope so much. Once you done got in a 10-year relationship, you kind of, you in the motions of doing what you do, and then a woman is more likely to push the envelope.
Women in 10-year relationships are less likely.
Not less likely. They're less likely than the man is. Yes.
Less likely than a man was implied.
Yeah.
But less likely than a man to submit. That you believe that women in 10-year relationships are less likely to submit than men in 10-year relationships.
Yes.
That's what you think?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I mean, I would think that at the end of the day, that saying the happy wife, happy life, that came from somewhere. It came from somewhere. I don't agree with it. I believe that happy people have happy
So you said-
relationships.
okay, no.
But what it is that in those also in those tenured relationships, women are more likely to kind of veer and come up with these newer ideas and want to do things differently. And the thing is that he's probably going to adjust to that as well.
Okay, so
Can we?
just real quick, from what I'm hearing here, like just off this conversation, basically y'all don't believe there's a hierarchy anymore within family, like as far as, or not even just within family, within relationship.
Tone with me. Talk to him, Tone.
I mean,
You asking you.
I'm asking a
He
question,
done asked
really.
me.
Hey,
He asking you.
Hey,
I
Tone.
already gave it.
Literally
I told
just
you that. I
generally.
don't think
You
that
talking
it's
about
not most healthy.
Ezekiel 23? That's the
No,
chapter
no,
in the Bible.
I'm literally just asking. Not even, I ain't even going to the Bible right now.
Oh.
I'm asking
So
because
I
My
can
bad,
I
I'll
can
get
answer it, and it will be in agreement with what everybody says. But I think sometimes ego gets in our way, in which like I think that literally in healthy relationships, it's a real partnership in which whether you want to say everybody submits, nobody submits, it's people working together to have a healthy relationship and make sure each other is happy.
but the
So
man
you're
should be
saying
the,
no,
the man
So
should
the
be the
answer
leader.
is no, I
Okay.
don't know. The answer be
Hey,
I
like,
believe
simple.
yes.
hey, fellas.
Now answer the question first before you
Yeah,
escape. Do you
stop trying to play
believe?
peacemaker. Shut up, Johnny.
Do you believe that
Yeah,
men should
shut
lead?
up.
Like,
Fellas.
is the man not a leader in a relationship no more? I just want to know
I'm
what
trying
you
You
to
say
think.
does
I'm
men not
trying-
believe in relationships?
No.
Or like within
Do you believe
is
that a
there not a
man?
hierarchy?
Do you
A
believe that a
hierarchy.
man is? Do you believe in a hierarchy in a family?
Hey, Tone, I'm trying to put a
It's his
pin in
question
it.
to you, nigga.
I'm
Answer
trying-
the question.
We still
before
got
the
1
pen,
minute.
I'm
nigga.
trying to put a
Answer your question before
Johnny
the
got a
pen.
toxic take. That's why he's trying to avoid it.
Nah, go ahead and get that straight. Let me know.
Yeah,
Let me
go
know.
ahead, Johnny.
So, is there a hierarchy?
Do you
Now they
believe that there's
repeating it.
a hierarchy? That's the filibuster right
Yeah,
there.
the nigga trying to think right now.
No, I absolutely believe there's a hierarchy. I've spoken to, because believe it or not, I'm a Christian as well. Like I grew up a Christian.
Why wouldn't we believe that?
Because I've talked a bunch about the black church. I've came at the church before. I've come at the church.
Hey, he
before.
was going hard too on the black church. What was that season one?
Season one. I've come at the church before, but
Nigga had the short hands on.
But I do believe, and the book is Ezekiel. Ezekiel, I believe it's chapter 23, but it speaks into how the man is the leader of the household, and how the woman should respect the man's authority in the household. And but if you keep on reading it, it talks to the man, and it also says how the man with this responsibility comes. Well, with this privilege comes a lot of responsibility, and you have to learn that as a man. And it speaks to holding yourself always to a higher standard as a man. And that's the part I think about Ezekiel that gets forgotten when they talk about the hierarchy. Yes, there's a hierarchy. But the reason there's a hierarchy is because us as men are supposed to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
So really the whole thing, what it really says in the Bible is who we're supposed to submit to as men we're supposed to submit to God. And the women are supposed to submit to us. So everybody does submit. But that's why I said this is a biblical conversation that we having in a worldly context, and it really don't work when you're trying to have it in a worldly context and take God out of it.
Hey Tone, let's
Hey, drop the those the air horns.
Nah, that's them lights on the runway. Cause guess what we better do? We better land the plane. Go ahead, take that down. Yeah.
So I have a topic, a question, I guess, that I throw out there. Shout out to Horses. I think that's a YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel that I've recently kind of stumbled across, where kind of it's a lot of like thought provoking conversation, just like a horse, but they dive deep into like just thought provoking conversations. And it was doing like a bit of like a deep dive on capitalism, and it led me to the question: is capitalism the great deception? Is it the big lie? And I say this by saying, the more I've thought about like systems of governing in general, I think there's probably no real good way. But I think that most Western societies, most Western countries, live by the idea of capitalism, right? And to me, when I unpack it a little bit more, it starts to seem as though it is selling people a fantasy and allowing the rich to stay rich and the poor to be even poor. when executed at its best.
Yes.
And most people are delusioned by their own self-confidence in their potential, and they will vote against whatever their interests are, or they'll go against whatever their interests are. Like, how many people that I've had conversations with that say, I don't think it should be an income limit. If you make $700 billion, make $700 billion, right? But it's usually based off of the idea of like, shit, if I get there one day, I'd love to make 700 billion.
Which is not
But
right.
in comparison, does one man need 700 billion in a year, or would that be better dispersed across people? And bringing the haves up a little bit more into, you know what I mean, a decent space. But I was also kind of like being pushed. I mean, I was reading up on some stats that it said, in essence, capitalism and colonialism, which go hand in hand, has pushed poverty worse than it has ever been. And I thought that was a really interesting conversation. Usually, when we talk about Africa exploitation, what is it done in? Name of capitalism, for real,
Right.
exploitation, $1. Typically, we excuse all morals and morality off of the strength of capitalism, $1. So I'd love to hear y'all thoughts, Johnny. Seem like you're steaming over there. You a free market capitalism guy. What you think?
Well, I initially want to agree with you. I initially want to just basically it is the big deception. Like people, when it comes to like America, we have been, I guess, groomed to believe that capitalism is better than like communism or socialism, even though if you look at it in principle, it's still the few governing and having ownership over the masses.
And
It's
the truth
just
is that there's
it's
just no middle. It becomes no middle class, and the low
in
ends up
either
being worse
in
than
either but in either one of them though, like so, and that's
true.
and that's my thing is I see very close parallels. I think they put a suit on this one and they put a hoodie on this one and said this the good guy, this the bad guy, but I mean deep down it's the same person.
Right.
Uh, and that's my issue with like we know how to work capitalism at the very least versus
We know how to work capitalism.
what's the opposite to capitalism, socialism or
When you say
communism.
we, who do you mean we? And what do you mean by knows how to work capitalism?
Well, I would say Americans. I ain't gonna say like I don't want to put it on any one group, but there's whether you have the power to do it, you do know how there is ways to go from to increase your wealth in this country way easier than you could in say some place like China or Russia.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
I'm not like super versed in the ability to kind of like go between different class systems within China and Russia, to be honest. If you can actually get a better job and like if that's a possibility, I like again I can look it up as you talk, and I can give you a better answer. But I'm not like in a comparison space. I'm not good at that. I'm not equipped to give that answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like I say, I haven't done no research on it, but and you can look it up and say, but I'd imagine, and like I said, I've been groomed, I've been taught, I'm American, I'm biased. I'd imagine it's easier to like as a black man to gain wealth in America than it would be as a black man to gain wealth in China. I think that'd be a lot harder with the way they have the controls they have over their government and the lack of freedom of speech, the
All right,
lack
when
of
you all
freedom
right, so
of
hold on.
press.
So when you saying gain wealth, are you talking about like become rich? Or are you saying like just become
Stable, like
a part of?
financially independent.
So are you talking about like become a part of what is said the middle class, like being able to make a true living wage? Is that what
Right.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because of then I don't know. I probably lean to it might be easier over there. Well,
As an
it
outsider. Like as an outsider. Yeah, you can do it if you obey all their rules and you don't
again, like
and you
all
give
my
up
sample
all your
sizes are
freedom.
really bad because it's teachers that are going over there in foreign programs and they get paid a lot of money. But the black teachers, I knew a black woman that was the principal of a Chinese school over there, and she's making more money than she could over here, and that's why she went over. Matter of fact, Bert went over to
He was Dubai.
Somewhere in the
yeah,
Middle
yeah,
East,
like
wasn't it?
it wasn't Dubai, it was close to Dubai. But in general, like it was kind of like the exact same thing. But matter of fact, I know a girl that's in college right now. She's doing an exchange program in China, in which like the main thing that they deal with is racism in general.
That's different though.
But
Going over there as an American and like living there versus like being born there and trying to come up through this. Of course, they're gonna pay foreigners more money. We pay our foreigners more money.
right, that's why I said my sample size is skewed. So what you just said was, as a black person going over there, typically you're going to be an immigrant going into that country, and all the immigrants that I have seen have did well.
Okay, we'll get back to it. Like this ain't. I don't want to keep on going, but my question is, I guess, to rebuttal your question would be, if not capitalism, then what?
I think that probably a mix of all the things is what probably is the best. I don't like subscribe. I don't think that there is a perfect way to govern.
Well, I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Like the idea of this, like America, they're like they'll say like socialism is bad and capitalism is bad. It's like we're trying to. What it is that it seems as though they're trying to integrate multiple different things as it.
But that's what the left is. I've never heard the right ever say that capitalism.
What I'm saying is that like even in general. So like okay, let's say the left did come up with the governmental resources for the poor, the people, the underprivileged people. We have all kind of resources to help people become, let's say, quote unquote, become their best selves, or to get themselves in a better position when they've come from the poverty levels. We have those type of resources to people. We also have capitalism doing what capitalism does is really make sure that the lines are very, very firm and very thick to see where the classes lie. You know what I mean? So it's I think there's a mixture already there, but I think that like at the end of the day, you already know where I stand. It's always position over paper. That I've been preaching that.
So you're a communist?
No, I'm not a communist. No, I'm not a communist. What I say is that I agree with what you were saying. I think that capitalism is the great deception. I believe so. I think that first, especially with BRICS and everything happens, you know what I mean? With that whole scenario, it could very well be a great deception if the dollar does what they projecting it could do. But what I will say is that in my opinion, I think that society has bought so far into capitalism and the value of money.
That's what the American dream is based around.
Say it again.
The American dream is based off of capitalism.
Oh, right. Agreed.
Yeah.
Is that the American dream is like the white picket fence? You have your fair shake to become.
If you can dream it, then you can possibly become rich.
But y'all don't believe that though. Y'all don't believe that, like y'all too, like coming from like where y'all came from and where y'all at today. Y'all don't believe that that's not. You think that's possible?
But what if there was just a better baseline?
No, the thing is,
what if we didn't have to like start at the poverty space? What if we started inside better communities?
But you don't think there's poor people in China or Russia either?
I think it's poor people everywhere. But what I'm saying is that being stuck to the idea, and this is again like this extrapolates more into like a critique of the right. Like critique the left a lot sometimes. Right. I think a critique of the right tends to be my critique of the right is the fact that capitalism in its purest form leads to inequality that then they complain about, the left complaining about. And
true.
That's like that to me, like when you unpack it and then put it back into like the box that is America, that's what I'm overall getting at. But again, I want to start the conversation that broad.
No, yeah, but I mean that's the thing. Like I think Ray was trying to speak into it. That's the beautiful thing about like the country that we're in is that
capitalism and colonialism, which go hand in hand, has pushed poverty worse than it has ever been.
America's America. I don't want to go too hard for it, but we are like as black folks. If you look all across the world, I think the black folks in America got it the best out of all the black people in the world.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, how much traveling informs that opinion? Yeah, because typically what I understand and have known and have heard is that like there's a lot of countries, and I've seen like multiple, like a lot of my experience would be like the YouTube interviews, but most people inside a lot of these foreign countries don't care to come to America. and that's black or not. Like I have an aunt that lived in Germany for like 20 years, and she said that like she like there was like she was amazed and she enjoyed the quality of life there.
But
And
you
as
know
a
what
black
though?
person, it wasn't like the craziest. It was either Germany or Russia. But I
Okay,
can't really remember.
I get that, and like I say, I haven't been to Africa to speak on that. I just
But
know.
we ain't got to talk about Africa. We can talk about all them other countries as well.
But how come in Africa
Like we get
places like
painted
how
the
come,
propaganda as well. We forget that we're
Absolutely.
getting fed propaganda.
Absolutely.
And so like we think of like this like again like Germany or Russia, a lot of those countries as being like bomb shelter spaces and like the people inside the cold and shivering and shit like that, and like really lacking of resources, and it's like these little white kids asking for bread and they wrestling bears and shit. Like that's not exactly it.
No, I get that. I mean, I definitely get that. And like I said, and you said Germany. I don't want to talk about places like because Germany's not communist. Like Germany, I know it's not like Russia or China. It's a democratic place, so it's a little different. But when it comes to Africa, and when I'm talking about like the black people in America and like the opportunity that we have, and why other black people around the world look to us to be the leaders. Like look at places like Nigeria, Uganda,
But we talking
Ghana.
about the place that
But they're giving,
capitalism is hurt
but
the
they're
worst.
giving free citizenship to Black Americans to come back over there because they want our talent, they want our code, they
Right,
want
because
us
the Chinese
to
is
come back.
exploiting the shit out of them right now.
So guess so what's the better
Because
option
in
to
the name
them?
of fucking capitalism.
But then that's why they want us to come there because to them capitalism is the better option than the communist Chinese that are there.
I don't get the
And that's why
I
they're
don't get
giving,
the parallel.
but that's why they're giving free citizenship to black people in America because they want us to come there.
That ain't got nothing to do with capitalism. Though. Draw that parallel. Why they think
because we're capitalists, we're Americans.
Oh no,
That's
we
the system
come with money.
from.
We have like pockets.
But from capitalism, it's all
Okay.
capitalist. The systems we build are going to be based on capitalistic the teachings that we've had. That's why they are wanting us to come there to help build
Yeah,
that.
no,
Part.
the crazy thing, bro, is I literally, y'all know that's the position over paper thing is rooted in me. I'm not for sale. I think that the thing about the whole capitalist shit is that like if you look at just the average person on the social media spaces or just really all they want to talk about is money. Like are we gonna just throw morality out the fucking window in chase of capitalism? Like what it is that like even in COVID it got even worse. It got even worse where the get rich quick schemes and folk just doing all kinds of shit. Like, bro, it doesn't. The thing is, to me,
morality been out the window when it comes to.
But it just, government. Bro, but it doesn't came at the end of the day. It was different for them. It's leaked down to us, to the single individuals, and now the country. You can see the climate of the country. It's literally moralist. It's like it's moralist. It's like just the.
But if the people you fighting are moralists, how are you gonna win with morals? Like you're gonna have to go down to like you fight fire with fire.
Well, what I'm asking, like, what are you? Where do you fight? Where's the fight? Where's the fight?
Well, the fight's ultimately for power, and like you say,
no, I'm talking about for like just the us as the citizens. Like, where is it that you think that we're going to make enough money to overthrow? What is it that you're saying?
It's about the collectivism. Yeah, individually, like none of us can.
Okay, but my thing is that the even amongst the lines of the paper chase, there is no collection. Hey, we've literally on the chase of the paper, completely torn ourselves apart from each other.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's literally that is a byproduct of capitalism. That is a byproduct of capitalism. That is what it represents. It is the separation.
But that's only possible in capitalism, also, though. Because in socialism,
so is it the Great Deception? And that's what his question was. His question was, is it the Great Deception?
I mean, yeah.
I agree. I think 100% that it is.
Well, here's my thing: is the paper chase and like, was it free market system?
All it does is have you work your ass off, your life off, and you wake up and be 50 years old. And you ain't did nothing to make a white man rich.
I'm thinking you about to get there.
The facts of it all. Absolutely true. Only fucking thing you done done.
Like, shout out to Henry Ford for at least stricken it to 40 hours. Because if it wasn't for that, niggas would be slaving 6-7 days a week, 10-12 hours. For real, bro.
Okay,
the facts of it. Just think about, bro.
But think about China and think about Russia and the working conditions they had without capitalism and communism. And so like fucking China just now, like they was where you could work 60 hours at 5 years old in communism.
And guess what?
So
Nobody said communism was the answer.
Okay,
We're
but-
only critiquing capitalism.
And see, that be the thing where we get fucked up. When you start comparing, and oftentimes what they'll do, even in the black community, we'll fucking validate some shit we're doing. Oh, because the white man doing it. That ain't got nothing to do with the conversation that's being had. We're going to sit here and talk about us as individuals. The same thing when you talk about relationships. Oh, were the men doing it or were the women doing it? No, it's about accountability and just where is the morality? Where are we going to stand?
But we're gonna do that. My critique with capitalism has always been that it's been put in the hands of too few. And like when
How do you put it
How,
in more?
I was about to say,
huh?
How do you put it in more?
You can't
Like,
give everybody.
we have fake monopoly laws, but that shit ain't even real.
Real
Facts.
monopoly laws, like for one, and another is not having your government bought off by these capitalists, and like that's the other way.
I love for you to find a way to have a country based on capitalism not being bought out by capitalists.
It's definitely that's exactly what the.
But tell me what you think.
That's literally like around where I was about to go, where I think the biggest issue really comes in, as far as the authority we apply to the people who are the most successful within the capitalism spectrum of things. Like somebody like Bill Gates. Bill Gates ain't no doctor, but Bill Gates can come out and tell us what kind of shots we need and all of this stuff based on. There should be no way that somebody like him should be able to have that much authority because his front is technology. He ain't did nothing as far as doctors. Mm-hmm. But because he has money, people are sitting there and listen to what he got to say. And this is a lot of people within our society. They do it with celebrities, they do it with anybody who, like, the more money you got, the more authority you seem to have. And that's kind of where people, I think the regular people think it's at. Like, people think, okay, well, for me to get this authority and to be heard, I need to make more money. But you're never going to reach that level like Bill Gates and everything. Yeah, but and like Quintel was saying earlier when he started this topic, they'll sacrifice things and let things happen just because they think that they're going to achieve the same thing. So we'll sit there and let stuff slide just because it's like, nah, I want the opportunity to get that too. But you never gonna.
Yeah,
get
when I get to 300 million, I don't want a nigga telling me not to make 400 million.
Good. Well, I do agree with that. Like, if we're talking about capitalism, I do believe that there should be certain limits on it. Like a motherfucker like Bill Gates, he should not be allowed to buy 1 million acres of land.
Farmland.
Like, why do you need that? But like, it's one person.
Because of capitalism.
So I'm trying to agree with you.
I'm only
I'm trying to agree.
Like, you know when niggas be rapping and then you get like voices in the back, and they be hyping them up. I'm just ad-libbing.
I'm trying so hard to come back over there, but I'm trying so hard.
I'm just ad-libbing. I'm trying to give you love.
My nigga Johnny, 1 foot in, 1 foot out the box right now. He got them dancing over here.
So I do agree that there should be certain limits on certain aspects of capitalism. But when we start critiquing capitalism, one thing I always, or I don't want to lose sight of, is the opportunity that capitalism does give us compared to other places in like the world that don't have freedom of press and stuff. So when we start critiquing, I like to start off with, well, what's the alternative to capitalism? And we addressed that, and then so now I can get into the critiques a little bit, but
but I mean, at the end of the day, you don't have to jump ship in order to make a system work. I don't have to throw away the system in order to.
But that's how a lot
make
of people
the system
operate.
work.
No,
and in today's world, there's a lot of just cancel culture and stuff. A lot of people are.
But if we having the conversation outright, what he's saying is the fact that then let's actually critique it instead of like being defensive of it. Because then we don't actually get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest things now is that, like, bro, at this point, we just a lot of people. I think that there's a large population of people that are just for sale. And if you're for sale, then think about what your children will. You know what I mean? You can see that. Like, and I ain't gonna give that example because that'll be very. Well, fuck it. Go ahead.
What's the difference between being for sale and just like trying to put your kids in a better position?
It's a level of morality. There are things that you will and won't do. You can be successful and not sell out, and that's the thing. we're literally watching a whole bunch of people, and we're glorifying a whole bunch of people that have sold their own morality out for paper.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Cardi B damn near crying, talking about how she would rather just be herself. She doesn't want to be this thing anymore. She wants to be her regular self. Damn near crying. And this is like, Susie, she just pulled it
Well,
up and
my
let me
thing-
see it. It's like literally people are like going against everything that they know that is right in order for them to get this financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
To get fucking what?
Just using that example.
Mhm.
Like Cardi B said, I guess when she talking about selling her soul, and she talking about the
I ain't say sell her soul. I didn't say
or
that.
selling out. My bad. I ain't gonna put that on. But she said selling out. I guess you're referring to
Figuratively selling.
Yeah, I wasn't going
Figuratively.
all the way into.
well, I ain't
Don't
even
go
gonna say
into
that
no
it's
conspiracy.
figurative.
I didn't say
No,
anything
but okay,
about that.
I no, I'm not. But you're talking about the record deal.
No, I'm talking about her just
She's
literally
talking about
wanting
her
to
record
be
deal.
her regular self instead of
talking
having to
about
be this person.
She's become a character, and now she has to continuously step
Right.
She was a
into
character
that.
before.
But do you
before a
think?
record deal. She
But
was
I'm
a
saying,
stripper that
do you think she would
That's
be in
true,
the
too.
position that she is today, and her kids, if she would have just stayed herself? Did not,
Probably not. Absolutely not. At the end of the day, but there's also still a way that you can do it and have. You don't have to. And this is the thing.
But this was Cardi. You.
And I'm not even. I'm
Have
not
you
even
seen
talking
her
about.
before? Where was she going?
No.
No
Listen,
way.
I'm not talking about.
Capitalism saved her. I ain't going.
No, and the thing, but at the end of the day, see, this is the thing though. See, this is the idea. But look, is she actually? But the thing is that
she had big safe covers when she was poor with coronavirus in her pussy. She was doing anything.
But right.
But,
So
look, but is she actually saved though?
You see
Look,
where
and
I'm
this is
going?
the
You
question.
see where I'm going?
No. I understand where you're going, but is she actually saved though? Is she actually saved?
Hell yeah. I guarantee you she don't want to be, like, she wouldn't trade what she
Putting
had right now
corona
to
in the
be
pussy.
poor.
Nah, I ain't gonna
She ain't
debate
gonna
that
trade
part.
what she got right now to be poor. I ain't gonna lie to
that's
you.
all I'm saying. When it comes to capitalism, there are examples like a Cardi B where she wasn't gonna be nothing.
That
Like
she's
we
gonna be
saw
fucked.
that, we saw the grill and all like we saw where that was going. We saw
Money gave her a body,
Oh no, that's
teeth,
trash.
teeth,
Get
bars,
your teeth fixed.
bars,
Get your teeth fixed.
like all of that.
Yeah.
So
I need to get my
bag.
and it put her in a position to take care
money
of her
gave her a
kids, and her
husband.
kids can take care of their kids off the money she got. And that's generational
Mm.
wealth. Now, what they gonna do with it? I don't know. But they got it. They got that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's all like thanks to like free market system and the idea of being able to work for yourself and being able to, market and
No.
have
And
ownership
see, but
of
there's
your
also
own
see the thing
IP.
is the idea is for the system of capitalism to utilize you to perpetuate the idea of you and your peoples that they want to.
What about the concept of IP? Well, that don't exist in non-capitalistic societies. Well, that's a big thing with us, is you can own your intellectual property.
And I guess my ending thing is that, again, critiquing. I definitely did critique, but I will also say that this is a capitalistic country, and I do believe that to be successful, I have to play the game. So I'm also not going to play it like pretend as though my quality of life, because it is a capitalistic country, isn't based on the money that I make and my thrive to make more money. Because it's going to afford me a better quality of life. And that is what I believe becomes like the great like balancing act for most people. And it's also like the thing that I've seen a lot of, I call it like the 2014 through 16 woke folk that I was around, like they ended up having to battle with, is the idea of quality of life versus being like extremely smart and intellectual and like being able to critique said system. But the reality is that the system is the system.
Mm-hmm.
Tone.
I don't actually think capitalism is as big of a problem as it is like I said, the authority that goes along with it, or the people that believe that these people have authority more so than they have. Like capitalists shouldn't be influencing. You shouldn't be able to buy a president as a company, but that's literally what's been happening.
You said
like,
buy a what?
Buy a president
Or pay for
a president.
Or pay for your gotta be elected.
Oh man, I wish. Yeah.
like
I got a couple live show conversations. I wish we could get into Vivek. Vivek been getting his ass handed to him lately, but
been going.
But yeah,
like,
just the level of
wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had.
Go ahead.
Are we done with this? Because I got a question for Tone.
Go ahead.
We done with this. I don't know.
I rest my case.
So what happened with your case?
I won that one, clearly.
How
All
did
right.
that happen?
Yeah.
When did that happen? I guess we all were lost.
We just touched down, but I want to, take off right. I want to start where we landed. And my topic was, do the red pills deserve grace? And I want to preface it by, I got this topic based off watching. Hey man, calm down, bro. You heard him?
You know how my nigga feel.
You heard him, bro.
Nigga
The
over there
man
lit.
breathing heavy. Calm down, bro. Like just give me.
Boy,
a
he
chance.
about to pop out the chair right now.
Just give me a chance,
I'm
bro.
my bad. I was like,
I can feel the energy, bro. You gotta melt your ice already.
Yeah, smoke coming out his nose, bro.
I watched the Tyrese interview at Breakfast Club.
Okay, yeah.
Great interview, by the way. Great interview, by the way.
Niggas still interviewing on the Breakfast Club. My bad. Go ahead.
No, this is one of the best interviews I've seen in a long time. Honestly,
Tyrese actually had some really great ones in his last few months. He done had some really great.
It's the first
episodes.
Tyrese interview I've seen in forever. So
Okay,
I haven't seen none of the other one. But what it got to was, because I follow his wife, but I've been following her for years. But
is that what more do you want from me?
What more do you? Congratulations.
I'm always.
She had him online. Wow.
But bro, he was on psych meds, and that's what he said on the Breakfast Club interview. Bro said he literally remembers nothing. Like he said he came to. He said he came to, and he was more depressed off the damage he done on the psych meds than any healing he got.
He was wild
off the psych med. And I mean, him and DJ Envy, he apparently was texting people crazy. Like DJ Envy said he blocked Tyrese and because he was texting him and his wife crazy. He was texting crazy to show. So but bro was on that medicine. That's why when I told y'all about my therapy, they tried to put me on them pills. I ain't.
Red pill is niggas that's on medicine.
No, I ain't. Let me
right,
wait. Cause it ain't got nothing to do with it. But because I'm shouting out the whole conversation, but they eventually got to the point where he was talking about his wife and how she taking this whole toxic masculinity thing and she's shitting on him based on all the things that he did, and he was like, that's a lie. I want my family. I'm heartbroken off of this shit, and my heartbreak off of it is what led me to all of these things that you see, and it's I couldn't say anything for a long time because of the divorce until we went to try, and now I'm finally getting to say my piece, and now people are saying that I'm what's it called, a misogynist. They're saying I have masochist or no, that's something else. My bad. That's something or toxic masculinity. There you go. Whatever the word,
about some sexual
punishment
shit.
Nah, but
wow, boy.
I'm not wild. He said the word masochist.
I said it. I
just understand what the word means.
Yeah, I was well. I shouldn't have said that. I was wild for that. But it came to the point where he was like,
this nigga X and XX game is crazy over here, bro.
OnlyFans, Johnny's P.
But he was like, when I say my piece about what I went through, and I say my feelings on the situation, I am being called a misogynist. And he's like, that's not fair because these are real feelings that I'm feeling about the relationship that I put my all into, and this woman just decided to break it up, and now she's wanting $20,000 in child support. Yeah. And to me, I feel like she never loved me, and I was just a bag play the whole time. And he said, but when I say that, I get called, misogynistic, or I'm being male chauvinistic, and all of that. And my thing is, just based on that, it was like, damn, some of these red pill dudes might deserve a little grace because we don't know their situation. We don't know what led them to think some of the things that they think. And my thing is, I'm not saying that way of thinking is right. I'm not saying I agree with it. But what I'm saying is hurt people. And if somebody is going through something, that might be a default setting that you arrive to based on your pain and the things that you have went through, and not necessarily saying it's right, but people react in a certain way.
In essence, what you're saying is that, like, if you're emotionally wrong, then we should
have
like
grace.
allow it to like just be and like ignore it, and it's cool.
Well, I mean, at the
No,
end of the day,
I didn't say that at all. But I'm saying,
but let's be honest.
But no. Listen, let me finish. Let me
Go ahead.
address. No, I'm not saying at all. You do have to have accountability for like your emotional state.
Right.
But,
so like you want to
but-
call out the shit that's like you're kind of like inside a state where you're not thinking correctly, and that actually doesn't make sense. Or that's not how you feel.
But
right now I'm emotional, so I'm making that statement.
Nigga,
But what I'm saying is, people in that state of mind deserve grace.
But
We know
we've
they're
been
not
giving
saying-
women that grace for fucking ever. So let's go ahead and put that on the table. They've been getting that grace forever. What I think is that men, I think that the red pill conversation does need grace simply because there's many men that have gone through things that feel that way. So whether they've gone through it themselves, I think that they're speaking from a lot of men that have been through these things that are very similar and feel the same way. I think that there's where the grace lies. But I mean, because you feel a way, that doesn't excuse your behavior.
Accountability has to be there. But I'm just speaking to grace along with the accountability.
Like, how long do you need grace for? Like, so if you're going for 2 years straight,
I'm saying,
how much grace is that?
I'm saying,
I don't know.
have we ever given niggas like fresh and fit grace? I know I haven't.
Bro, niggas ain't never got grace, period.
I haven't given a lot of them red pill niggas grace.
We niggas got grace. We ain't never got no
Johnny
grace.
P,
Not me.
I'm just saying, that's just, we ain't got no
niggas get
grace.
grace all the time. I think that's a myth too. We can get into that in a second.
Let's get into it.
But hold on. You're talking about like the red pill creators. So then let's just start going down the line of like the bigger red pill creators. So if we're talking about fresh and fit, you brung up them, right? So if we're looking at fresh and fit,
never given them grace.
No. All right. So what about what they say and who they are would give them grace, right? So if
pity,
what would
they need pity? Not a reason to give somebody grace.
Why do they need grace?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, both of them are single men that are talking about like the fact that you need to date younger and have more money and cheat on your woman. Women, I don't know, like they have
a much more than that. But my man be simplifying this shit all the way down to like the pure ignorance.
So if you wanted to have like a better conversation about it, you're right. So in general, like if we're going the fresh and fit perspective, is the fact that as a man you should make all right. These are actual real points. As a man, you should not date a woman seriously until you fuck 60 women. That's a real point that they consistently say.
I never heard that one either.
Again, so that as a man, even if you are married, you should not live with your wife.
It includes it.
But you could and should live with your homeboys because they will motivate you.
No, that's like, other shit I haven't heard either. I haven't heard that either.
Again, I can bring up like these are real facts. So as a man, like again, go ahead.
But no,
where's the grace?
And
again, neither one of them were cheated on.
Bro, my thing, I didn't bring that point up for you to list all the stupidest shit they've ever said. My thing is, despite all the stupidest shit they ever said, do they deserve grace? Is there
what?
Is there real feelings behind where they are and real actual like? Oh shit, this woman did X, Y, Z to you. You might have a reason to feel the way that you feel.
You're talking about like them projecting the experiences of other people, doing it to other people, because neither one of them come from that scenario.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about them in particular, but I'm just saying.
Again, and to me, I'm just saying, like the list of the red pill creators.
I'm just saying the mindset in general. Now, individually, if you're a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite.
Because like so again, if we want to go down it, if we go fresh. Fresh is online talking about again. You brought up the names, so I'll do you the justice. Do I give grace to a guy that is intentionally misleading? So like you said it, I can answer the questions like genuinely. Where so Fresh, for example, do I give grace to a guy who is intentionally misleading guys to say that, hey, you should make X amount of money, never trick off on women, have that woman XYZ. But at the same time, this is a guy who now is meeting women on yachts. This is a black guy.
On a boat.
On a boat, and is doing the exact opposite of everything that he's saying. Like, he's simping for a woman who is only looking to date high value guys and fucked them, and he met her on the Sugar Baby website.
Hey, bro.
That's like the literal opposite of what they say, right?
Hey, bro. I agree with you. Fresh and fit.
You
They probably
just said we
was
gotta
a
give him grace.
horrible example. It was just an example of red
Give me
pill.
another
It was just
It
an
was just an
example, bro. It
example.
was, and it was a bad one.
Give me another one.
Well, no.
Hold on. So was
Can-
Kevin
let me-
Samuels
let me
considered
give
red
him
pill?
Another one. Let me give him another one. Let me give him
Give him
another
another
one. Let
one.
me give him another one. Because and maybe my example won't be necessarily fresh and fit. But what about the people who actually been through shit who hear fresh and fit and then they take that mindset and then bring it? Like, what about those people?
Right,
Like,
they're jaded.
The people that
Those
actually been
those
through
niggas
shit.
are the exact same. They're the exact same thing as the jaded woman that say niggas ain't shit.
But don't that woman deserve grace?
Fuck it.
If you think so,
I'm about to say I'm
so
all
if we
great.
giving grace
I'm
to
graced the
everybody,
fuck
then-
out. I'm
then
graced the
give grace
fuck
to
out.
everybody. If we not giving grace to everybody, let's not give
Fuck
grace
it.
to everybody.
Well, I'm gonna say them niggas don't deserve grace. I'm graced the fuck out on that shit. All that niggas ain't shit. I'm graced the fuck out. I don't know. I'm done. So if that's what we doing, I say no.
I think everybody.
Stop tipping for them niggas, bro.
No, I think everybody submits. I think everybody deserves grace. I'm just saying, I'm consistent. I'm consistent. Trying to be honest
That
with
nigga
my kid.
stupid.
Everybody deserves grace. Like, I mean,
Hey, I'm
I know
graced
the
out,
boy
bro.
crazy. I know that shit ain't right, but like, you had to have gone through something, my guy.
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking like this about these beautiful queens? Like,
All right, hold on.
like who hurt you? Like, who hurt you?
See, now look, there you go with another one,
They not queens.
bruh. There are some.
Those who I was talking about. That's what I was
damn,
talking
you going
about.
on that word? You said
I'm going
the
on
black
all
women
of
ain't
it.
queens.
Then the goddamn. No, I didn't say
Damn,
black
go
women
ahead.
ain't
I was
queens. Look
talking
at
about the
I don't
queens.
know.
You see how my nigga
I was
go?
I'm
He'll
just
just
sitting here
jump.
listening.
I was
He'll
talking about
just
the
jump
queens.
all the way off the clip.
He said, "Hey, hold a time out. Them queens.
Because
the
I thought he was
queens
gonna
that
get
you
on you
speak
about
of."
like.
No.
But
It's
then
just
he might have jumped
it's
the other
another
way.
one
I'm
of
just
those
trying to hear.
the buzzword shits. It's just another one of
Go
those.
ahead, just say it. I want to hear this.
What was the you said
Said they
the
ain't
queens,
queens.
and then you said what was the other word you said after
I
that?
said, "Beautiful black queens." Say they ain't beautiful black queens.
The
Yeah,
black,
what he-
the
what
black
he
just
said
popped
that-
up in there. I wasn't even black in there before.
What I said, no, I
The
said
black
there
just
are
came in
some.
there.
He
Like,
said black queens.
No, I didn't say all that.
where did the black queens
Last on the
come from?
play.
These bro,
Hey,
you can't.
bro, why they
Hey,
not
don't
beautiful
trust
black
these
queens?
niggas right here, bro. When you
Hey,
talk
Rev,
about
tell us why they not
you
beautiful
ever
black
heard of somebody throwing somebody under a bus? This nigga here, bro. Don't trust this man,
We're
bro.
not, bro. Tell us why they not beautiful black queens.
I didn't say. See, you sitting here.
You cut me off when I said beautiful black and then queens.
You didn't even say black.
You
You,
didn't
just
even
said
say
beautiful queen.
You just said queen. All right, fuck it. Fuck it, bro.
What you got to say about queens?
Yo, I got to say that y'all niggas ignorant, and I love Tone's mom. Love her to death.
No, man, let me stop.
Love her to death.
Hey, well, your mom surely is a black queen. You know?
There you go. There you go. He beat me to it. Why you stop laughing at me, bro? Why this nigga mad as hell? I'm saying, are we tapped out?
Okay.
I don't know if you have a better argument, but
I had a question, my guy.
I answered it.
Okay, and he was the one that I was arguing with you, not me. I was just looking for guidance.
Yeah, no, you
Well,
just
I
trying
think
to
we
creep
both
your
said
way
that
out.
you said that you submit to everyone and
No, I said everyone submits. Difference.
and that you
I don't, bro. What is wild? What he just said? Like that's wild. Like you're not letting that slide. He said you submit to everyone. No, I'm not. I'm calling that one out.
it's
Right,
hard to be submissive.
right
If
now.
you a submissive-
No. I said everyone submits.
Again,
So that means
so
I get
from
submitted
season
to.
from season 2, I think that we had it. Johnny is into BDSM.
Better stop.
He
That
is
ain't never
a
happened, bro. That ain't
and
never happened.
you got my camera tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny he is looking to be a submissive in a relationship. He will
No,
get
fuck that. I'm the dom.
and
I'm the dom.
he will get hog-tied. He'll put the little thing in his mouth. He'll allow you lashes. He said that as long as you do it
Bro,
in the name of
shenanigans.
Dr. Umar, he will take them
Shenanigans.
lashes.
Shenanigans.
Go ahead, Johnny.
I ain't got nothing to say to her. I'm not even responding to the bullshit.
Tell me you ain't no pack of shit, bro.
I'll land this plane right now. You keep on fucking with me. I'll land this motherfucker right now. But no,
Bro said he ain't pack of shit.
I ain't unpacking shit else with this nigga.
Yeah, I don't know what you think, Tom.
Hey, hold on, I forgot what the topic was. We got off tangent for a second.
He said,
Stupid.
Is it okay to be submissive?
I didn't say that. That's what Quint said. I ain't say that.
That wasn't the topic no more, was it?
Oh no, it was red pill. It was red pill.
Oh
red
yeah,
pill.
yeah.
It was do they
red
deserve
pill,
grace, or should we just hold them to the fire like everybody else?
Nah, I mean, I think everybody deserves grace, but people need to be held to the fire too. So if I done gave you the grace and then I see you keep doing the same thing, nah, you need to be held to the fire, bro.
Agreed.
I think that's the problem with society. A lot of the time, everybody's giving everybody grace and not holding nobody to the fire for nothing. So everything just right. You can't do nothing wrong no more. Can't nobody be accountable for their wrongdoings. Ain't nothing wrong. You just right because that's how you feel. Bump that.
Yeah, just because of how you feel.
Yeah. Especially for some men. Like,
Bruh, and that's another thing. Bruh, I feel like nobody asks you how the fuck you feel. What do you think, nigga?
Feelings don't matter.
Bruh,
honestly,
I'm not a whole bunch of feeling ass nigga. I'm not a feeling ass nigga, bro.
I think for men, our feelings matter to us, and we need to address. Like, that's about as far as it need to go. But
That's fact.
Do something.
Like
do
the
something.
world
That's what
do
we
not
do.
give a fuck.
The
about
world
your
don't give a
feelings.
fuck about your feelings, and as a man,
Should
it's telling you figure it
take
out.
care of as a man? Should you handle like your feelings? Should you take care of them? Should you address them? Absolutely. Do you need to go and tell the whole world how the fuck you feel about everything?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Nobody give a fuck. But
Do something.
you're the person that's gonna have to feel those feelings, and if you don't do something about them, then the rest of us are gonna have to live with you not dealing with your feelings, and that's gonna be a toxic person. So I think everybody should deal with your feelings individually, but the rest of us don't give a damn about your feelings.
Nah,
Like,
and
you do
even
that
with
themselves.
feelings do
like feelings
Yes.
matter. That's why I said
Oh,
you need
I just don't
you need
care
to
about
address
that
your
shit.
feelings with your
But you care about your
group.
feelings.
I do,
I think everybody need you need a group of
but I
people,
won't
especially
ever
as
be
a
out
man.
there on Instagram. You won't ever catch
Yeah.
me. What more do you want from me?
That's that Tyrese callback. I like it. What?
Like
Hey, listen.
my feelings will never matter that much to where I gotta post me
Yeah, but
crying
you gotta
on
think that's
Instagram.
rough, bro. You gotta think that's rough, man. Like,
My
as a
feelings-
person,
I got a
that
good
much.
shout out. Shout out to all the niggas that was outside wilding at one point, but recovered. He recovered. He was outside wilding crazy,
Wellin.
but he
Well,
recovered. He back giving good interviews, according to Johnny.
Yeah, and I still think
Yeah, hey, that's a good one.
I
he
definitely think it's
I'll
something
say
good.
this: after
R&B
y'all
Money was a
watch
good
this, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna shout them out. Shut them out. We continue.
And I still do
That's a
think
good
men
interview.
should though talk about their feelings with like amongst your group. Like I'm not saying feelings ain't important. So let me clarify. It's important to have a certain amount of attention to what you are feeling, but the world's not going to care. I think you should find you a group. You need a group of people who you able to cry with, do whatever, be like really express yourself, and then that's where you let it go. You don't let it go on.
Should you express your feelings to your lady?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Okay.
I think that's probably what most men do. That's definitely a healthy way. That's probably a lot of the area that we do end up submitting to our women in, if you want to use that word. As far as like emotional being vulnerable, I think vulnerability is probably one of the areas that we do end up having to submit in. As far as men, like you have to submit your vulnerability to your woman because it's not gonna last in a relationship like that if you're never vulnerable.
I just like to say that the niggas that Newton was defending just now, they said that you should never cry around your woman. And you should never have any level of emotional vulnerability.
Oh, they ain't
What
got no
about that, Johnny?
ain't got no successful
I don't agree
relationship.
with them niggas. I started out saying I don't agree with them niggas. I'm just saying they stupid and they need grace. That's my whole point. My whole point. I don't agree with them niggas.
All right.
I just think they need grace.
I seen the time to take a shot, so I just took a shot.
Nah, they don't land over here, man. My air defense. Nah,
You got
nah.
You got the Philly shell. What you throwing up?
Nah, this that high Mars, you know, javelin, we got all kind of weapons over here. Grenades, all that shit.
You said AIDS.
I do want to know.
Grenades.
Oh, all right.
Grenades.
I don't know what you be saying. You took it to war, and I was
Bro,
talking about boxing.
how does he always?
I was talking about boxing, the Philly shell, and then you said javelin, so I had to like catch up to that. And then I thought you might have been
AIDS, That was Jay-Z and them. Rockefeller died of AIDS. That was the end of this chapter. That's who you chose to name your company after.
Well, that was Nas. That's it.
I'm using it.
Yeah.
I'm using it.
Yeah, well, it sounded like we had a good.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, y'all got anything else before we get up out of here? I want to tell everybody, if you haven't, ring the bell. You get all the notifications. Like this video, cause that definitely helps us, go to war with the algorithm. We got to do that. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Threads. What's it called? The To Be Fair Show. Yeah, check us out every Sunday for the live. We're going to start that back up next week. Go check out the cookout conversation last week. Dope conversations, beautiful women. It was a beautiful setting. Like I said, we really had a good time. So if y'all ain't seen it, go check that out. That's all I got.
Oh, y'all didn't think it was a beautiful time? Oh, I don't know. I was.
Hey, man, y'all fucking this shit.
Oh, you ain't think it was
I'm
fucking
going.
enclosure up.
I'm going. But yeah, before we even do all of that, I want to say I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, yeah, real.
It's Q.
And we out.